If you've ever glassed a tree line for an hour straight, squinting through a foggy, blurry pair of binoculars while a buck you can barely make out slips back into cover, you already know that glass matters just as much as your rifle or your bow. Leupold has built a reputation over a century of putting hunters first, and today we're breaking down the 5 best Leupold binoculars for deer hunting in 2026, ranked by real owner feedback. We're going from the newest challenger all the way up to the most trusted pick on the market. Links to everything are in the description. Let's get into it. Kicking off the list at number 5 is the BX-4 Range HD TBR debut, and this one earns its spot not through sheer review volume but through what it actually does. It's a true rangefinding binocular, meaning you get Leupold's elite optical system and a built-in laser rangefinder in a single unit, so you're not fumbling between two devices when a deer steps out. The true ballistic range and wind technology calculates uphill and downhill shooting angles for you, and readings show up on a bright red OLED display that stays legible in low light. It's 100% waterproof, fog-proof, and built to Leupold's lifetime performance standard. The owner feedback here is short but strong, and it comes from serious, repeat Leupold buyers. One hunter who already owns more than a dozen Leupold rifle scopes said these rangefinder binoculars stack up right alongside the rest of his optics collection and called them some of the best he's used. Another buyer said his wife loves how simple they are to operate in the field, and a third called them well-made for what you're paying. One reviewer specifically praised the visual clarity and mentioned the shipping speed impressed him as much as the product itself, while another said the rangefinder readings came through crisp and easy to read at distance. Not every review was glowing. One buyer, a longtime Leupold customer, found this particular model heavier and a bit clumsier to handle in the field than expected, and ended up sending it back. That's worth factoring in if you're already juggling a pack, a rifle, and a rangefinder on your hip. With a smaller but highly satisfied group of owners behind it, this one lands at number 5. But the next chair, or binocular on our list, has already crossed the 100 review mark, and it introduces something this one doesn't have at all. A magnification option built specifically for wide-open Western glassing. Stick around. Number 4 is the BX-5 Santiam HD, and this is where Leupold's lineup steps up into serious professional-grade territory. The Santiam HD sits at the top of Leupold's optical hierarchy below only their absolute flagship glass, built for hunters who spend entire seasons in punishing terrain. It's waterproof, fog-proof, and shockproof, with a guard ion lens coating that sheds water, dirt, and fingerprints, so your view stays clean even when the weather doesn't cooperate. The focus system is engineered for exceptionally smooth, fine-tuned adjustments, and the open bridge, dual hinge build keeps the whole package lightweight despite its high-end internals. The hunting feedback on this one is genuinely compelling. One buyer already owns a couple of Leupold rifle scopes and said the Santiam HD holds up just as well in the binocular world. A hunter heading to Alaska picked these specifically for the trip and called them simply the best binoculars around. Buyers who went with the larger 15 by 56 mm version reported being able to focus clearly even with a significant eyeglass prescription, and one described them as an outright game-changer for spotting bucks at extreme range, though he noted the added weight means he typically braces them on a tripod, a monopod, or even a steering wheel when he's parked and glassing. Another buyer who compared the 8x42 and 10x42 versions side by side found the diopter wheel on the smaller model too stiff to adjust easily and ultimately preferred the 10x42 for its stronger magnification. A couple of honest notes came up too. One reviewer said the center focus wheel needed more frequent adjustment than his older, cheaper pair, and another flagged that his unit arrived with signs of prior use despite being sold as new. Even with those hiccups, the Santiam HD has built a loyal following among hunters chasing trophy bucks at real distance. Coming in right behind it at number 3 is a binocular with the exact same review count, but a notably higher satisfaction rating and a specific badge that means shoppers are buying it in bulk right now. You'll want to hear why. Number 3 is the BX-4 Pro Guide HD Gen 2, and this is the first pick on our list to carry Amazon's overall pick badge, with more than 50 buyers picking one up in just the past month. That kind of current momentum, combined with a stronger star rating than the Santiam HD despite matching it on review count, is exactly why this one edges ahead. The Gen 2 brings Leupold's elite optical system, the same guard ion lens coating for shedding water and fingerprints, and an open bridge dual hinge design that keeps the whole unit light in the hand during long glassing sessions. The field reports on this one read like a highlight reel for hunters. One buyer who's owned it for months called the clarity excellent and said it was well worth the investment over cheaper binoculars he'd used in the past. Another who upgraded to the 12 by 50 mm version said there was simply no comparison to his other Leupold optics, calling it better than a spotting scope because you get to use both eyes, and reported clean, sharp images out to 400 yards. A hunter who lost his entire optics collection in a house fire replaced everything except this pair, calling it the most versatile and easy-to-use binocular he's owned. Another confirmed the lenses are genuinely made in Japan after a frustrating hunt for a straight answer, and said the view of a distant object at dusk exceeded his expectations for brightness and sharpness. Deer hunters specifically had great things to say. One buyer who picked up the larger 10 by 50 millimeters version to replace an aging pair of Nikons said he uses them mainly for Texas deer hunting and called the low light clarity outstanding. Another owner praised how easily the diopter adjustment balanced the view between both eyes, and a third simply said the compact size and easy focus wheel stood out immediately. With a near-perfect track record and real current buying momentum behind it, this one claims the third spot. But number 2 on our list has nearly 5 times the reviews, a design pedigree that's been fine-tuned across multiple magnifications, and buyers who trusted it enough to compare it directly against premium European glass. That comparison alone is worth waiting for. Number 2 is the original BX-4 Pro Guide HD in 12 by 50 millimeters. And the review count here jumps dramatically, reflecting years of hunters, hikers, and birders, putting this exact model through real-world use. This is Leupold's workhorse mid to upper tier binocular, built around high-definition, calcium fluoride lenses for edge-to-edge clarity, the same open-bridge dual-hinge design for lightweight handling, and BAK4 prisms that deliver a clean, round exit pupil with virtually no distortion at the edges of the view. The depth of comparison shopping in these reviews is what sets this pick apart. One-day hiker cross-shopped Hawk, Nikon, Zeiss, Vortex, and Steiner before choosing the BX4 specifically for its locking, diopter, and reliable eye relief, noting that archery forums repeatedly praised how quickly hunters could acquire a clear sight picture and get back to their bow. A buyer who gifted a pair to her husband for his 40th birthday had her father-in-law, a professional ornithologist, vet the purchase first, and he called both the price and the optical quality genuinely exceptional. Another hunter, who replaced a broken pair of Steiner HD binoculars, said the field of view was wide and clean edge to edge, with everything feeling tight, smooth, and well-built. Perhaps the most telling review came from a buyer who held these up directly against a pair of Swarovski binoculars and found the image nearly identical, only noting a gap in performance during the toughest low-light conditions, exactly where the ultra-premium glass still pulls ahead. A hunter with a narrower interpupillary distance who struggled to find binoculars that fit her face compared this pair against Vortex and Nikon models and found that BX4 clearer, brighter, and lighter than both. Not every review was a home run. One longtime Leupold fan called the improvement over his old pair incremental rather than dramatic for the price jump. Still, between the trusted lens system, the loyal repeat buyers, and the direct comparisons to glass costing far more, this pick earns its number 2 ranking. But our number 1 pick has well over 300 more reviews than this one, at a price point roughly a third of the cost, and it's a favorite among hunters who specifically need extra reach for wide-open terrain. That's coming up next. Taking the top spot is the Leupold BX-2 Alpine HD in 12 by 52 millimeters, and with the highest review count on this entire list by a wide margin, it's clear this is the binocular the widest range of deer hunters have actually put their trust in. The Alpine HD line is Leupold's accessible entry into serious hunting glass, built around a fully multi-coated lens system for maximum brightness, contrast, and true color, along with BAK4 prisms for a clean, round exit pupil with minimal edge distortion. This particular 12 by 52 millimeter configuration steps up from the standard 10 by 42 millimeter setup with extra magnification and a larger objective lens, specifically for hunters who need to identify game at longer range across open fields and clear cuts. The review pool tells a remarkably consistent story. One buyer new to the world of quality optics said he was struck by how genuinely high definition the image looked straight out of the box and equally impressed by the overall build quality. Another owner ran a detailed side-by-side against his personal Zeiss Conquest HD and Zeiss Victory binoculars, and while he gave the edge in brightness and clarity to the far more expensive Zeiss glass, he said he wouldn't feel disadvantaged at all using the Alpine HD in an actual hunting scenario, and pointed out that a set of budget Vortex binoculars he'd also tried felt like little more than toys by comparison. A separate 4-way comparison test pitted the Alpine HD against a Vortex Diamondback HD, a Carson 3D, and a Maven C.1. And while the tester ultimately kept the pricier Maven, he ranked the Alpine HD as one of the 2 best values in the group, noting only that the focus wheel felt a little coarse for fine distance adjustments. Hunters specifically praised the light-gathering performance and the peace of mind that comes with a reasonable price tag, with one owner saying he doesn't hesitate to toss the binoculars on his dash without worrying about the investment. Multiple reviewers flagged the same minor gripe. The included harness lacks a traditional neck strap, and more than one buyer swapped it out for an aftermarket strap after the first use. That's a small fix for a binocular that has earned the trust of more hunters, hikers, and birdwatchers than anything else on this list. If you want the pick with the deepest track record behind it, this is the one. If you specifically need a built-in rangefinder for those long, wide-open sits, go back and take a look at the BX-4 Range HD at number 5.